What is up, guys? We are back at it with Big Knick Energy. We're keeping it real, Big Knick Energy, Though it's still Knicks Raw show, Yeah. But we got angyypellzz, Angelo Pellegrino, right? Did I say that right?
That's right, brother. You got it right.
Yup. So coming into this season, big season coming up. A lot is on the line for the team.
Yeah, this is I mean, I don't want to call it a do or die year for Tibbs and company, meaning Leon, Wes, Tibbs, but if they don't show any kind of improvement this season, it could be a change of scenery for all these guys, But we actually just did our podcast on Big Knick Energy, and Brad, he believes that regardless of what happens this season, if Tibbs doesn't work out as the head coach, that he believes that he would be thrown into the front office. So we'll see, see what happens.
We'll have to see. Definitely a lot to see in what happens with Jalen Brunson, how he's definitely going to step up for a team, hopefully. Julius Randle, where we go with him. Do we trade him? Do we not? RJ Barrett, see if he takes that next step to get to that all-star level. So there's a lot on the line this year. And what are your predictions for the season?
Well, I'll tell you this. So we were a 37-win team last year, basically with no real direction, right? We had Kemba. We signed them for 2 years? I think the second year was a play option.
Yeah.
We signed Fournier to 3 or 4 year deal. Nice chunk of change. So going into last year was a disappointment. And you know what? We still strung along 37 wins, right? We had Alex Burks basically starting at point guard for the whole year. Kemba, good experiment. Happy he got to play in New York. I know some people who are friends with him, so I know he wanted to be a Knick basically his whole life. So I'm sure that was a good experience for him. But for a team that had no real direction and looked like depleted and didn't look like it was going much, didn't go like it was going far at all, we managed to squander 37 wins. So coming into this season, right, you added a legit point guard, Jalen Brunson, probably the best point guard we've had on the Knicks. I mean, I want to say, since I really started analyzing the game, right? I watched Marbury play, but Felton was the best point guard we had, and that's crazy because he's as mid as they come. So to have a guy, with his experience, his pedigree, he's been a winner his whole life from high school to college to even in Dallas. That's going to keep us on the right track, right? Some people have this misconception that you go from here to here in one season, right? And people believe that with the Knicks just because the market is driven by fast results, the fans, the media, they're tired of waiting around. So we made that addition with Jalen Brunson. He'll be here for 4 or 5 years. Hopefully he's here for a long time. Very underrated signing, Isaiah Hartenstein. I think Knicks fans are going to love him when he steps on the garden floor. Going to be a fan favorite. So my predictions is, if they had 37 wins last year, I'm just going to peg them automatically as 42 wins next year. Just right off the bat, I'm just going to say Jalen Brunson adds 5 wins, right? And I also like this training camp, how supposedly they're working on moving with pace, which is not really a Tibbs style of offense. But Randle, with Randle, with Brunson, with RJ, with Quickly, with Toppin, all these guys are young. All these guys got a lot of energy.
Mitch, don't forget
Mitch. You know, these guys got a lot of energy, so you got to use your assets that you have. So by listening to these guys talk about, you know, moving the ball and running the floor with pace and space, I like what I see so far. I like what I hear so far. I guess we'll see tomorrow.
But yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Definitely, I expect a big year of improvement for Obi Toppin. Look, he's not gonna go and be a superstar this year, but he's definitely gonna improve even more than he was doing last year. And every single year he's gotten better. Same thing with RJ Barrett, definitely. So everyone I think will get better somewhat. And I think besides I don't know about Randle, but we'll have to see how Tibbs is able to adjust to the new NBA game. Cause yeah, he was lucky with the team he had in 2020, 2021. I wouldn't say lucky. He was able to make it work then, but now things have changed. But Jalen Brunson, I do think, is a Tips player. Kemba Walker was not a Tips player. And
I don't even think Tibbs signed off on the Kemba deal. I think there was some pressure from fans, media, that we dealt with Alpha Payton for 3 seasons or 3 seasons. We dealt with him as a starting point guard, and we struggled that time scoring the ball late in the game. So I felt like the front office almost had this internal pressure on them that they had to make a move, right? They had to add scoring. How'd that work out for us? Fournier and Kemba signing last year's season. Didn't really work out for us. We lost Payton, right? I'm not a Payton fan at all. I was a big Reggie Bullock fan. I was sad we let him go. I know he was sad. He got let go. And we added offense. And not to say that we didn't need offense, but that starting lineup, that backcourt with Kemba and Fournier, that defensive backcourt was non-existent. No defense at all. So, even this year, we'll see what happens with supposedly Fournier's pegged in as the starter. So at least for now, and it looks like it's going to happen to start the season because Grimes is dealing with a little foot injury. So we'll see what happens on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, hopefully Grimes is able to recover, but Fournier won't. Fournier is going to have to. Well, Tibbs is going to have to find a way to make Fournier and the rest of the team coexist, because Fournier is the type of player who's great on offense at times. He's like Tim Hardaway Jr. He reminds me so much of Tim Hardaway Jr. Great on offense at times, is streaky, but is not good on defense.
What are you talking about?
Evan Fournier reminds me of Tim Hardaway Jr.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can't deny his shooting, right? Like, he was easily the best three-point shooter in the NBA for more than half of the season, but the role he was given is not the role that he is needed to play, and is not the role that he should be playing, right? He shouldn't be counted on defensively. He shouldn't be counted on to shoot that many threes, even though it's okay, right? He can make them. He shoots them at a high clip. He makes them at a pretty good percentage. But, he's got to take a little less of a load on the offensive side of the ball. And I'm a big believer in team defense, right? Obviously, everybody needs to guard the man. Everybody needs to guard the ball. But, I'll always go off this one quote from the Dallas Mavericks championship when they beat the Miami Heat. I don't know what year that was exactly.
2011.
I'm sorry?
2011.
Was it 2011? I remember, I think it was the year or so after, or a couple of years after, Tyson Chandler said about Dirk Nowitzki, hey, Dirk couldn't play a lick of defense, but he bought into the team defense, and that's what put us over the top.
Hey, it worked then. So if Tibbs is able to bring that to the table, then it will work. It'll probably work. Also, do you think the Knicks are going to make a move this year for a star?
I think the shop's open, and I think good businessmen always take phone calls, right? I don't want to call myself a good businessman, but if I was Leon Rose, right, I'm not going to say everybody's on the table, but I'm going to say you got to listen to every phone call you get. You got to call around the league. This is what good executives do. This is what good GMs do. We don't have LeBron James on the team. We don't have Luka Doncic on the team. We don't have Giannis on the team. So it don't hurt to make phone calls, take phone calls, see what's out there. So as long as those phone calls don't get leaked to the media that we're reaching out, business is open. As far as do I think as for a star player, I don't know because nobody knows in the NBA nowadays. 1 week it's a player could love playing for the organization, says he wants to retire there, and then next week he says, "I'm out of here." You know, so what'd you say?
You saw it this summer with Donovan Mitchell, how for a second everyone thought he was coming to the Knicks, and he ended up in Cleveland. Do you think?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? The Donovan Mitchell saga.
Listen, I'm a big believer in get the star and figure out the rest later, right? In this case, the asking price was too much. We were going to deplete our roster for a star player, right? Great player. Don't get me wrong. Jalen Brunson at the 1, Donovan Mitchell at the 2 would have been something that Knicks fans dreamed of. But we would have never been any higher than a 4th, 5th seed. He wasn't taking us over the top. And we would have had to gain some assets back because we would be losing some key young guys that are a big part of the core right now. So although Donovan Mitchell said it in his pregame, in his interview with the Cavs that he thought he was going to the Knicks. He's not going to lie. Who wouldn't want to play home? That's exactly what he said. And it didn't work out, but I'll tell you what, let's see what happens in 2 years because he's a free agent in 2 years and you never know what happens.
Yeah, I think you got to win now to show that if he's coming to New York, he's got the pieces to work with. And then next thing you know, we're a contender to win it if we get
For sure. Listen, I remember the Melo trade. I'll never forget it. Pride, when I was that young, the happiest moment of my life at the time. If Melo would have waited just a half a season or just to the end of that year, just another half a season, we would have been stacked. We would have had a lot of depth. But when a player wants out, man.
But, you got to pull the trigger when it's right there. So whatever works to get the player and whatever, if it's easier to keep someone when they're there than when they're not.
For sure.
Yeah, you got to make the move. But how do you think Julius Randle will play this year?
I'm a big Randle fan. I'm going to give him a clean slate this season, just because we got to. Number one, right? He's here. So if anybody's on the Knicks, I'm going to root for them. And if he becomes less reliant on his jump shot, on his mid-range game, and he dives in, he starts playing more pick and roll with JB as a role man and using his strength to bully players. Because I don't know if anybody knows, but Julius Randle is one of the strongest players in our league. That guy could take the ball, put his chest, put his shoulder down into any player. I mean, I'm even talking, he's on par with being just as strong as Giannis to me. If he's able to use his strength more and get in the paint, use his body, and get more easy baskets, I think he'll have a good season. Do I need him to average 24 points a game? No. Give me excuse me. Give me 16 to 18 points a game at a high clip. Shoot a good field goal percentage. Rebound the basketball. Draw some charges. You don't got to be the offensive.
Don't turn over the ball.
Don't turn over the ball. You don't got to bring up the ball every time now, right? You got a point guard that knows how to make his player better. Knows how to get you the ball at the spots that you need to get him at. Use that guy on your team.
I hope so. Now that Jalen Brunson's here, he can't have to act as if he's like Kobe, trying to dribble the ball up the court. He's not LeBron. He's not a superstar. The only person who should be dribbling the ball up the court is a point guard.
Yo, Luke, I gotta head out, right?
Okay. It was quick but good.
Yo, my man. Always a pleasure talking to you. And I hope we get to link up at the Garden this year, all right?
Absolutely.
My
Let's
man.
go Knicks.
Let's go, baby. I'll talk to you.
Oh,
Yo,
thank you again. Thank you again. It really
of course,
means
my brother. Anytime.
always.